What is up? This is Bodie back again with Bodie Tree Social, and in today's video I'm going to challenge your viewpoint of reality and what you believe is actually real. So, most of us think that the reality that we're experiencing, this world we are experiencing through our sensory perceptions, as well as our thoughts, emotions, feelings, etc., are real in some capacity, right? Meaning that they have some sort of absolute reality. You know, you can't really argue with it like reality, you know, it's solid, right? It's real, it exists. How can you really argue with that? Can you? Well, in today's video, I want to perhaps propose an alternate perspective that none of this is actually real. And in order to do so, I need to lay a practical foundation. So what we're gonna do is a very straightforward and practical thought experiment where I'm gonna demonstrate to you that perhaps this reality is not as real as you might think. So imagine for an instant that you do not have a sense of sight, or hearing, or smell, or touch, or any of the five senses that we normally have and navigate through reality with. Most of us have these five senses, right? Imagine for a minute you don't have them. Perhaps your brain's not working properly, something like that, right? Imagine that your nervous system is no longer functioning. You don't have these feelings anymore. You don't have these sensory perceptions, and as well as any sort of like feelings or experiences that are associated with these sensory perceptions. That no longer exists. So then, let me ask you, what is real? At that point, you don't have sensory perceptions, then what is real? And it starts to get kind of fuzzy. Maybe then you're like, well, maybe you still have feelings and thoughts, right? Maybe you imagine everything's black, I don't really have any other senses, but I still have thoughts and feelings. Now imagine for a second, thoughts and feelings, gone, vanished, gone forever. No more thoughts, no more feelings, no more sensory perceptions. Then what is real? Do you even exist anymore? Right? And it's not that far away from our waking reality. All you do is, boom, shut off the brain, shut off thoughts and feeling. That's it. That's it. So it's just a conglomeration of your sensory perceptions, your thoughts and your feelings that makes what you think is real. So let me ask you again, is it actually real? Well, in reality, me knocking on this wood, that's just some electrical impulses happening in my brain. Everything that you experience is really just a series of electrical impulses happening in your nervous system. Very miraculous, amazing, phenomenal, incredible that we have this experience. It's beautiful, it's amazing. But the fact of the matter is it's not ultimately real, and there's not this like real reality out there that we're all experiencing together. No, we're all creating it through our nervous system, through our brain, and also through our thoughts and our feelings, through our mind, through the mental body, emotional body, and the physical body. We are creating it, and yes, there's certain things we agree upon because we are the same species. We have similar nervous systems. We are much more similar than we are different, but the fact of the matter still remains that we are all subjectively creating this reality. So what does this mean? Well, this is not the absolute ultimate reality. There's something far greater, and we can actually find a window into this reality through recognizing if all of this disappears, what is it that remains? Who are you fundamentally, in essence? Clearly, if you are having an experience, you are seeing, hearing, smelling, feeling, you are having thoughts. There is someone or something, some sort of awareness or consciousness who is having this experience. right? It's sort of like if you project a movie onto a screen, there needs to be that space or that screen for the movie to project onto. So if all of this is simply a projection of the mind or the nervous system, then who or what is projecting and experiencing that? Well, there must be something deeper. That realm of pure awareness or pure consciousness. And through this, you can access a window to the transcendental, right? Because this reality, it's full of ups and downs. You know, for a minute it's good, and then all of a sudden it's bad. And now you're on a high, now you're on a low. Now it's sunny, now it's cloudy. But there is a transcendental element to reality. And if you are anchored in this, you're no longer really deeply affected by the vicissitudes of life, the ups and the downs, right? When you have a connection, you could say, to the truth, the Most High, Great Spirit, God, if you will, whatever you like to call it, you're no longer so affected because you realize none of this is ultimately real. We're all just creating this. It's a fabrication. Some scientists and physicists say that it's a hologram being projected from some other place or some other reality. Who really knows, man? Who knows? But the fact of the matter is whatever we're experiencing, it's happening through our subjective lens, through our nervous system and our thoughts and our feelings, etc. So, this really, you know, it might seem sort of like a lot to digest, like, oh, none of this is real, everything I thought was real in reality is no longer real. It can seem like a lot, right? But actually, this is a huge opportunity to step into what is real, and also to realize, because this is a fabrication, an illusion, you can make it whatever you want. You can add whatever meaning you want. You can reinvent yourself like that. You know, you can shift the lens through which you're perceiving, and therefore you can change all of reality. It really is that simple. But most of us think that there's this reality out here, and we need to rearrange it, and then we can be happy or have the life that we want. That is not the case. You change the lens through which you experience reality. That is the only way. It's like if you're projecting a movie onto a screen, right? You can go and try to mess with the screen and the image as much as you want. It's not going to do anything. What do? You go and you change the projector. It's that simple. You have to change the projector. What is the projector? The mind. It's you, the consciousness, the nervous system, whatever you want to call it. You are the one projecting it and simultaneously experiencing it. Right? So, yeah, this can be a lot to take in. But this is, to me, this is a huge liberation. It's like a huge weight lifted off your shoulders. None of this is ultimately real. It doesn't really matter that much. It comes and it goes as any experience comes and goes. So, yeah, you can just relax, let go, and decide what you want to do with it. You know, it's fun. It's like choose your own adventure game. It's like you get to be the director and the main character in your own movie. Like, what kind of movie do you want to live? What do you want your experience to be? It is up to you. And ultimately, because all this is an illusion, and other people are really just projections of your own mind, they're characters in your own dream, a huge way to liberate yourself is through the act of forgiveness. Forgiving all of this illusion for what you think it did to you. Instead of pointing the finger and saying, like, I'm a victim and this person did this and this happened, da-da-da, you can actually let that go and realize, no, it's all just a projection of my own mind. Anytime you see someone who is angry or acting a fool or doing something that you're like, wow, that person is, you know, that's a bad person, or that's wrong, they shouldn't be doing that, you can recognize, oh, that's actually just a projection of my own unconscious anger. That's a projection of whatever's happening within me. Because there's a vast realm that is not necessarily conscious to us in our waking lives, through our conscious faculties. There's a vast realm of that which is unconscious. And so when we experience these symbols in our reality, people getting upset at us, you know, dysfunction in the world, etc., we can realize, oh, it's a projection of my own unconscious, and we can forgive it, and in doing so, we are healing our own unconscious. We can accept it with love unconditional love, not condoning it, not saying that's okay. No, you can still say that's wrong, but I am willing to forgive. Someone could really, really fuck you over, and you could say that's wrong, that's a messed up thing to do, but I forgive you. Why? Because it's not for them, it's for you. If you're holding on to any sort of bitterness or resentment, what does that do? It's only hurting you. As the Buddha said, anger is like taking a poison and thinking it's gonna hurt your enemy, but it only hurts you. So holding on to these things, it's only hurting you. So you're not doing it for the other person, even though in some capacity it's healing them, because ultimately it's all the same thing. We're all the same dreamer, co-experiencing unique dreams, right? We're all the same. Ultimately, the same essence, the same awareness, consciousness, whatever you'd like to call it, the same spirit. You know, pretending to be separate in this dream of life that we're co-creating, right? So, yes, ultimately, all forgiveness, letting go, what does it do? It's helping you. But in helping yourself and healing yourself, letting go of your own suffering, you're simultaneously helping everything else in existence. So that's one of the most important things you could do. And then when you let go of that, you are free to create the sort of dream, the sort of movie that you would like to create, the sort of adventure you would like your life to be. You can create whatever you want, right? And sure, there might be certain limitations we can't get around, like aging, for instance. I don't know if we will ever be able to overcome that, because in this realm of illusion, there is polarity. There's youth and there's old age. There's up and there's down. There's left, there's right. There's male, there's female. There's good, there's bad. There's right, there's wrong. Dark, light, etc., etc. It goes on forever. None of it is ultimately real. It's just the creation. It's just the fabrication. The same way someone develops a video game or something. This is the same way that you could say the universal mind developed this reality and this universe. So we work with it. We do the best we can. Maybe there's ways to transcend these things and we'll create a better reality. I don't really know, but ultimately, none of it is really real. It's all a fabrication. You can create whatever you want. Recognize you are this fundamental observer. You are the awareness that simultaneously creates it through the lens of your nervous system, the physical, emotional, and mental, your thoughts, your focus, right? You are creating reality as simultaneously while you observe it. So recognizing this, letting go of the things you're holding on to that are creating bitterness, resentment, suffering, let that go, recognize it's an illusion, and you are free to live the life that you really want. This has been Bodhi with Bodhi Tree Social. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Much love to each and every one of you. Remember, as always, live this life from a peak experience, and we will talk again very soon. Peace.